Richmond High School. We're here today, of course, to celebrate the life and the legacy of Colin Simpson, our foundation principal. That title means so much to a school and a community, but it also tells us nothing about what Colin was to everybody in this room. It doesn't capture anything about who he was as a human being. He was an exceptional principal, but more than that, he was a very exceptional human being. In what's been an unbelievably difficult week, I've really been looking forward to this moment. To look at all of your faces, to see the strength in this community that we are building together, and to think about all of the wonderful times that we have spent together already. We're calling today a celebration, not because we're not sad, but because celebrations were very important to Mr. Simpson. He spoke to us often about the importance of gathering together as a community, celebrating what makes us us and what makes us unique. So today will be sad, but it will also be funny. We will not be sparing him some jokes at his expense. And we will spend this time together to be strong and to lean on each other. I want to begin by welcoming all of those in attendance today. We have members of Colin's family and some of his friends with us. Mr. Simpson spoke often of his family and friends. He talked about the importance of having a life outside of school. He showed that to each one of us on his staff by talking about his family. He was an incredibly proud father and an incredibly proud husband, and he would share with us stories every single week about his rich life outside of school. This week, while we have been grieving, you have been at the forefront of our thoughts, and you will remain there. Welcome to our distinguished guests, who have been an incredible source of support this week. We're very grateful for your guidance at this time. Welcome, of course, to the many parents and carers here today. Colin saw you as so important to the building of our school and our community. We have leaned on you this week and we will continue to do so. Welcome to our staff, a team handpicked by Colin, partially because of their intelligence and their skill as educators, but mostly because of their kindness. They've been incredibly brave this week. They've made themselves vulnerable, and they've connected with our students as we've all worked through our grief together. And lastly, of course, welcome to the most important people in the room today, our students. You've made this week bearable. Mr. Simpson was so incredibly proud of you all. He talked endlessly about his dreams and hopes for your future, and we're going to share some of that with you today. Thank you for reminding us why we are going to keep going as a school community. We will begin today's events exactly as Mr. Simpson would have wanted, with an acknowledgement of country day poet.
Thank Colin, traditional language order people of the Colin nation, and I wish you knowledge of traditional language. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and the elders from our community.
As I mentioned earlier, Colin saw our work with our students, families and carers as central to what we're doing here. We are working together as a team to influence and build the lives of our students. He wanted nothing more than to build strong relationships within our community, and I think we can see by the turnout today that that has been very successful work. We're going to begin our tributes to Colin today with a message from our school council president, who unfortunately could not be with us today. Stephen Cleany's son, Asher, one of our foundation students, will read some words from his father.
For any building to have strength, it needs to have a strong foundation. It's the same with an idea or a vision. Many of us, the foundation students, the parents of those students, the teachers and staff, we're here because of the strength of our foundation principal's vision. For us and for our school, I want to thank him for sharing this vision, for bringing us here together, allowing us to carry his dream forward. As we remember and as we heal, we are sad, but we are so proud to know that Richmond High School will not just be one of your previous schools, Mr. Simpson. It will always be your school and our school. Thank you, Colin.
The Honourable Rich Quinn, member for Richmond, is the man who delivered Richmond High School to his community. Colin spoke often of his passion and his commitment to our community, and was incredibly grateful for his leadership. I invite the Honourable Richard Quinn to speak.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Can I also start, as is our tradition here in the City of Yarra, by acknowledging that we are on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Can I acknowledge our Mayor who's with us today, Dennis Hostler, the Mayor of the City of Yarra, has joined with me today to be a part of this really important service. So I'm really, in many respects, heartbroken to be here today with you, but also I'm very honoured to be here today and to thank the students, the staff and families of Richmond High for welcoming me here at this time of extraordinary and deep sadness. This week, and indeed the coming weeks, will be a difficult time. A lot of people here in this building and for many outside are hurting. For those who are with us today, Colin Simpson played many, many roles. A principal, a colleague, a father, a husband. To all of you, and especially to Colin's wife, Kathy, and their children, Lewis and Ava, I extend, on our collective behalves, our very deepest condolences at this sad loss. I really only had a small glimpse into the large life of Colin Simpson, having known Colin when he was lifting this building literally up from the ground with the state government, working as he was well before the school turned its first sod in a temporary office in, of all places, the old Richmond police station. Colin was the type of principal any government or independent school would want in charge. And in this time of sadness and shock, it is important to celebrate and reflect on Colin's life and achievement. And that's easy to see just by looking around this room today. This building, all of the students inside of it, and the countless young people who will be educated in these walls have a running start in life because of Colin's dedication to public education and his absolute belief in the transformative power of education. Colin, through his career, was also responsible for the establishment of a network of inner city schools to help each other to share resources and professional development, and was a champion of the student voice, having students on employment selection panels, and indeed in many of the school curriculum conversations so important in developing this wonderful facility. Colin's impact on our education system was broad and profound, and for the community of Richmond, he leaves behind, in I think all of our opinions, a world-class education facility that is exceeding enrolment expectations and fostering a diverse cohort with a wonderful learning culture. So to the students, this school, I'm sure, will feel empty in the coming weeks because of Colin's passing. But we should also hold faith that his legacy and his deep love of education will live on through these walls and in all of you as you grow from its confines into the broader world. Colin Simpson will be remembered for being a principal, a colleague, a teacher, a father, a partner, and I would say a consummate leader for one of the best high schools in this state. Colin, we will miss you. Valet Colin Simpson.
Colin saw Richmond High School as a beacon for high quality staff. Many of us came here because of the vision he had for high quality public education. He was incredibly proud of his staff of their commitment, their intelligence, and mostly their empathy. He trusted us with his vision and with the students of this school. He believed in us. I would like to introduce Tom Lynn and then Ben Russell, who will pay tribute to Colin on behalf of the staff.
Dear Colin, I'm mad at you. I wish this is just a bad joke and a bad dream. But I'll wake up and tell you it wasn't funny. A month ago, we were together in Nanjing, planning for the ECP and talking about your family history, your retirement plans, and your upcoming big birthday. You have now left me to be the oldest person in the school. That's what I'm telling you. It's not cool. It really isn't. By the way, room 117's heating and aircon still not working. Colin, I consider myself very lucky to have the opportunity to work with you. Your humanity has really touched me. From day one, when I heard your views on our newly founded school, I knew I was in the right place. In the past 20 months, each day, you were confirming it. We had a long plan and so much to do yet. You left us too soon. The fondest memory I have of you are watching you, helping the kids, creating the dumbbell court, sweeping the school entrance, greeting the kids with a big smile each day, and convincing you to eat duck blood tofu. And of course, the time we had in Nanjing. I'm still mad at you, yet I adore you with absolute respect. Colin, I'm sorry. You did not get some time for yourself to finish all the personal plans you were telling me about. Giving so much to so many for so long. You deserved it. I'm sorry that I will not get a chance to have more time to get to know you even better. To have more of your guidance and wisdom. However, I have to have the confidence in you for seeing a little bit of you in each one of us. We will continue where you had started and to realize the vision you had for our school and the community. Colin, even though I'm mad at you, I miss you terribly. There's always going to be a special place in my heart for you. And you will be gone forever in the many hearts you have touched. Thank you.
eventually decided that I was going to sing a song. So the reason that I chose to do this is because when I was 11 years old, my grandpa passed away, and I sang at his memorial. He was, is, and will always continue to be an inspiration to me and a huge part of my life. Colin was a father figure to me and to the entire staff and students. The entire staff, students, everyone here, and he is, was, and will always continue to be an inspiration to all of us. I ask you please that while I try to get through this song, if you know it, please do sing along to spare me. Took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hill when the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. I'm getting older too. Oh, take my love and take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down.
Some sort of deep breathing for a while. Probably the greatest professional learning I've ever done in my career was standing at the front gate every day in the morning with Colin, and at the bottom of the stairs every afternoon with him, greeting and speaking with our students. he would drop whatever he was doing every day that he was in his building to make sure that he had those moments with the students. And that is Richmond High School. That's the culture of Richmond High School. All of us annoying you every morning over stuff, and it was like some sort of gauntlet. Asking about your weekend. And in between the students going up the stairs and coming down the stairs, he would tell me, sometimes repetitively because he did that, how proud he was of every single one of you. I could be really annoyed because you weren't going to class and complaining to him. And he would raise something really great that you'd done, a story that you told him, something that reminds us why we're here, why we keep coming to work, and why this school is so important to us all. You were the reason that he came to work each day, and he reminded us of you every time we met as a staff. You were at the centre of every single decision that he made, and if we ever strayed from that for a moment, he would remind us. He wanted the world for every single one of you, and we are going to make sure that you get it. We're now going to hear from some of our students. We're going to start with Lachlan Lawson and Darcy Sterling from Year 7. We'll then hear from Alec Woolley and Rita in Year 8, and finally from Fraser Confound, another Year 8 student.
Now, obviously, we as a community have suffered a tragic loss over the course of this last week. In saying so, I would like to pay my condolences to Mr. Simpson's family and his friends. In times like these, we should remember the positives. One of which being the school, but not only the building, the community that's formed around it. Mr. Simpson left us an amazing legacy that I feel we can only repay him for by continuing in his footsteps. He has pulled together an amazing community of students, teachers, and staff who I'm sure will always remember him for being a great leader. He was always open to new ideas, but had the determination to achieve his goals to everyone's liking. He knew what students wanted and was always happy to hear from us for new suggestions, or just about how everything was. It's those small connections that make a big difference. He was a very caring, passionate person. That's why I'm sure so many of us admire him. And I'll share hand over to him.
When we look up to this building, we remember the times when we looked up to Mr. Simpson, who represented the heart and soul of the school. Without him, these buildings would not be here. It was his determination, perseverance, long hours, and hard work which went into completing this project. But it's not just the building that makes this school. It is the strong community that he built around it. If you look around you, you'll see it is. Without this school being created, we would never have met. Like Darcy and I, we have never met if it weren't for Mr. Simpson's amazing creation. I want to thank him for providing us with the amazing opportunities we have had this year. Every time we walked into this building, we would all see him standing there, smiling, waiting to welcome us back. We'd like to thank you for providing us with a place to come and learn, to be happy, and to meet new friends.
Dear Mr. Simpson, I'm so devastated that I never truly got to say thank you. So this is my letter to you to say thank you. Thank you for so much you did. You did for everything you did for me, you did for every student at Richmond High School. You were wholeheartedly the best principal I could have ever dreamt of. I remember the first time coming to the school, having heard my friends consistently talk about how incredible you were, but I never could have imagined how honest their statements were. You cared so genuinely about the school and everyone a part of it. The students, all of the staff and the families too. That is something so rare and pure. You built the school with your vision and you listened. You listened to anyone that wanted to talk. I remember talking to you about school undershirts, and rather than you shutting me down and punishing me for being in the wrong uniform, you listened to me and you adapted. You later emailed me about a sample being made and that they would be made by 2020.
People say they care about student voice, but when you said that, you meant that in a good lot of room.
I remember the first time I met you at the Glendale Street Markets. You stood there and listened to me for about an hour, letting me ask you questions about school. And you told me your dream of a school that represented creativity, diversity, expectation, and intelligence. And biggest of all, a school that taught its students to make a difference. That was the day that I knew I wanted to go to RHS. You showed me how much you cared about what I wanted to get out of school, how much you cared about what I loved, and how much you cared about the vision I had for the school. And you put in that effort, so can you. You made sure you got to know me as a person before you got to know me as a student. This is what makes you an inspiration to so many. The fact that you leave an impact on every person you encounter, and I'll never be able to thank you enough. On that day at the market, you told me your dream of a school that caters for all. A school which isn't just a sports or arts school, but a school that any student could go to. Through your direction mastery, you've not only managed to create a school where any student could go to and shine, but a school where any student would go to. Because of you, I get to go to the school where every person is appreciated for their own strengths and weaknesses. A school where every student gets an equal opportunity to learn and where they'll be supported no matter what. Every time you came up to me and asked my opinion on small things like the furniture or the colour of the carpet, to the big things like what I thought BCE should look like, or even when you would take me and some others to the third floor telling us we could ask you to go up whenever we wanted, I was reminded how lucky I was to have such a caring principal, and in many ways a caring friend. There are no words to describe the loss I'm feeling right now, and although I never got to truly say thank you and to say goodbye, this is me telling you that your legacy will never be over and you'll live on forever in our hearts.
Colin, you made people feel welcome and part of such a tight-knit community. You made school some people's happy place. You so greatly impacted people's lives every day, even though they may not have shown it was there. You're a role model and an inspiration and are the reason why Richmond High School is the way it is. A modern, progressive and adaptive school that consistently strives for betterment. Though you are now sadly gone, know that the community of Richmond High School will fulfill your vision and legacy. I can't believe I never got to show you how much you meant to me in the school. I really hope that you know all of this, and I hope that you are proud, because you deserve every bit of that pride. I hope that you rest in peace, Mrs. Simpson. The 26th of October will always be a sad day, and yet I will still celebrate your life with a bittersweet sadness.
From Rita and I, thank you so much for everything. You'll forever be missed.
Colin Simpson was so much more than a school principal. He was a visionary leader, a passionate educator, an inspiring mentor, and a loving friend to all. The first time I met Mr. Simpson, I was in a brainstorming session that I attended with my primary school when I was maybe in year 5. Mr. Simpson always loved to talk about that moment at parent info evenings and tour days because it showed the journey that many people had embarked on in order for this school to be built. I can't really remember that moment very well. But the fact that he loved to talk about that moment in the entire history of the school so much was really meaningful. For me, yes, but also in terms of the pride he held for this school. He cared so much about forging strong connections with his students and his colleagues. I'm sure many students, if not all of you, have heard Mr. Simpson complaining about something, like the carpet and reading hill on level 1 that he despised so much, or the way you preferred to wear the school uniform and how you thought it could be improved. He demonstrated that we were all equal and that our input meant a lot to him. And I think that that was one of his defining strengths as a principal. Mr. Simpson was dedicated to making Richmond High School a place that everyone felt safe in, a place people wanted to be at, really enjoyed being at. His undying passion to create the ideal school for everyone was a trademark of his, and one we are so lucky to have been able to appreciate in all its blazing glory. Colin Simpson was so much more than our school principal. He was a visionary leader, a passionate educator, an inspiring mentor, and a loving friend to all, and we will remember him for all of that.
I might take this moment just to remind you to maybe take a deep breath in and out if you are feeling anything like me at this point. You might have stopped breathing a while ago. When I joined Richmond High School, I was of course incredibly inspired by Colin's leadership. He was genuinely unlike any other principal that I've ever worked for. I actually liked him. He was connected, he was caring, and I think as our students have just demonstrated, he was incredibly genuine. What struck me most, however, was the faith that he had in the three people he hired first. He spoke endlessly about their capacity, their intelligence, and their vision. He believed that they're destined to be leaders across the education system, a belief that I share. He believed they were capable of running this school, a belief that I also share. I'd now like to invite those three people, Acting Principal James Taylor, Assistant Principal Victoria Trant-Flew, and Business Manager Charlene Lloyd to speak.
Well, our first mistake was choosing to go after the students. So bear with me. Good morning, everyone. The leadership team and staff are so grateful to have you all with us here today. The community support, the outreach and the love that has been shown to Richmond High School during this difficult time has been nothing short of amazing and a tribute to a truly wonderful man. When I thought about what I wanted to say, I started to think about what Colin meant to us as a school, and I came up with a list longer than my arm, and I could have continued. And I could rave about Colin as an amazing mentor, a visionary educator, a champion for localised co-education, a principal, an incredibly proud father and husband, and as a human. But I want to speak about a few things that are important to us as a community, with a particular emphasis on you, our 192 students. The thing I kept coming back to is that he was our wisdom. So whenever I had a question, I would barge into Mr. Simpson's office to chat. And I would usually try and first tell him a joke or tell him something funny I'd heard, and he would hysterically laugh with that really contagious laugh he had, and he would say, "Victoria, where is your filter?" His expectations were clear. He was creating a school of human leaders in our staff and in our students. He was so proud of the school we had created so far, and he would randomly pop into our office when he was procrastinating, which was often, and say, "I've looked at the calendar and I'm happy. We're so far beyond where I thought we should be." And then he would walk and tell the next 10 people the exact same. But mostly he would tell us how proud he was of our Year 7 and 8 students who over and over have embodied all of our values, our visions, and our culture that he had set for Richmond High School. And this message really started in 2018 when Mr. Simpson and I were standing near the foyer in that crazy building across the road, and he turned to me and said, "I thought the kids would be good at Richmond High School, but his kids are actually amazing. Where on earth did we get these amazing people from?" And this conversation regularly continued. During orientation day last year, he came to James and I at the end of the day and he said, "Well, we have another bunch of fabulous children. How lucky are we?" His favourite thing to do was to hear about all of you. And he would drop whatever he was doing, no matter how important, to listen to one of our stories about your triumphs and your successes. He would then rush out to make a huge, embarrassing deal about it. And we all know that Mr. Simpson thought he was a particularly amusing man. And one of the funniest things that eventuated was his bizarre desire to start singing happy birthday to each of you. And the awkward look on your faces as you understand every single word was not his favourite part of the morning. But Mr. Simpson's favourite topic was to hear about kind gestures. And I want to remind us all about his message at the beginning of this year. Imagine what it would be like if we were all just kind to each other, because this was the type of man he was. A school with high expectations around learning and effort was what he built this school on, but a school with high expectations about kindness, respect, inclusion, and the treatment of peers and colleagues was his true vision for Richmond High School. On Monday, when we were all devastated and shattered, a Year 7 came to check on me, I would think at least 5 times during that day. And by the end of the day, she said, "Please, can I give you a hug?" And before I knew it, I had 10 Year 7 girls wrapped around me, hugging me. And this is the type of school that he really wanted, and most importantly, the type of school we will continue as, one that is full of heart. And I loved hearing Mr. Simpson speak about intelligence. And he would say, "No one talks about the importance of intelligence anymore. That is why it's one of our values. I don't want to be afraid to use that word. It seems to have become this dirty word in education. Our students should be worldly, and they should understand life outside of Richmond High School. We need to expect that of them. And he was a man who knew something about literally everything. And I always felt so inferior when it came to this topic. But maybe that's because he once did say to me, "Ugh, your generation," after he told me a joke that he thought was particularly funny about the origin of a Christmas tree that I did not understand. But when he offered me the role of assistant principal, my first ever assistant principal role, I said to him, "You know that I don't know anything about the administration side of being an AP." And Mr. Simpson responded, "You are a learner and you will learn." He believed in all of us as intelligent learners and acted as an incredibly supportive and inspirational mentor with lessons that were true to our values. His understanding of generational change and of their value systems was like no one I have ever met. However, I will stand by that my understanding of Instagram and social media was far better than Colin. He never accepted this, and I was forced to ban him from posting unapproved and ugly photos on his Instagram page. But he couldn't help himself, because he just loved celebrating Richmond High School and all of you so much. Our Richmond High School values were built on this community. They're inside each of us. With each new community member, we will carry these values and teach them our way, the Colin Simpson way. While our vision remains strong and consistent, Mr. Simpson's wisdom will not be forgotten. His answer to my many questions was often the same, and I know that I heard him say this to many of you, so I want to remind us all of this answer when we have questions. He would say, "Think about it and follow your gut, because you know the right answer." Colin will be so incredibly missed, but we will continue creating this school with our intuition that Colin led and helped us to develop, to be a kind and intelligent community with high expectations of each other, so that we can build this school the Richmond High School way. Thank you.
Okay, so today I stand here absolutely heartbroken that we've not only lost an amazing leader, educator, visionary, and a wonderful human being, but I, along with many of you in this room, have lost a friend. A wonderful friend that I didn't get to spend nearly enough time with, but I do feel so grateful and lucky to have spent the last 2 years working alongside him. After I was appointed, Colin and I met up at the front of our temporary home, the old police station. I'll never forget walking down Ridge Road towards him, and as we got closer, I held up my hands to shake with his. And he said, "Don't be stupid," and pulled me in for a massive hug and a kiss. And I thought, I knew right then that Colin was different, and this two would be great together. He said to me that very moment, "You are the first member of our leadership team. You will help shape and develop this idea I have into fruition." Little did I know at the time that he was a man of his word, and that he meant everything that he said. Colin lives and breathes our culture, ethos, values, and for a moment I'd like to talk about how he embraced creativity and diversity every day. When I think of Colin, I think of a man who accepted you at face value. There was never judgment, and he certainly never made any assumptions about you. He trusted you and had trust in you. He ensured that everyone in the school was accepted, and he led this from the top, and that it didn't matter how different you were to him. Diversity and inclusivity was to be the norm in our school. He made it abundantly clear to me that I was to help him establish a supportive staff culture. Not teacher or support staff, but staff culture. We were all different, but we were one staff. This was also the way of the students. He ensured that it didn't matter who you were, where you came from, or what you believed. Everyone was accepted and treated equally. Actually, if I really think about it, there wasn't even a difference between staff and students with him. We all had voice and we were all equal. Colin embraced creativity and adaptability in all that he did. He was preparing us for the ever-changing world that we live in. He emphasised the importance of us all being lifelong learners, not just the students, but the staff too. He would regularly speak to the students about their learning and their interests. He would talk to them about how interesting people have breadth in their learning and how important it was to continue with this range in their learning. He was always genuinely invested in students. He did challenge us all, staff included, to be the best that we could possibly be and to contribute to the community, to the education system as a whole, and to be a decent human being. Colin was a man that I loved and admired. Having said that, there are a few things that I'm not going to miss. I won't miss when he cleared his to-do list, which really meant mind room. I won't miss random things he would put on my desk that I didn't know what to do, like fence palings. But to be honest, there are many more things that I am going to miss about him. I'll miss him coming to my office in search of chocolate, and then him being so happy when we've had some that he'd close the door and we'd sneakily eat it so nobody else would share. I'll miss his text. His choice of emojis was always hilarious discussion point with leadership. The eye roll was a personal favourite of ours. And what I'll miss most with Colin is him just coming to my office for a chat. A chat about work or his family, or what we needed next to make this school amazing for the students, or just chat about life or something funny he just read and heard. Colin started this idea that is now Richmond High School back in 2017. When he began, it was just a concept, which he then turned into words on paper. And then together, we all turned this into reality. This reality, his vision, is not wrong. Following the vision he has for this remarkable school, our school, lives in each and every one of us. Such an honour to have known this great man.
Unenviable task of speaking last. But I would like to say good morning to everyone and thank you for joining us in our beautiful, beautiful school. Made all the more beautiful under very sad circumstances by this wonderful assembly. I've said to staff for the week, a bit of a pest really, but I've said this will be the greatest assembly you will be a part of in your careers. So I do thank you for all of you being here. If you haven't had an opportunity to look around, just to see, the view I've got here is actually extraordinary. But if you haven't had a look around, it's quite beautiful. We had our staff sitting with students all the way up, rising up into the building as they will rise up through the building as the years go on, supported by such amazing parents and carers and community leaders and supporters. I should probably get on with my speech. It is an honour to be able to speak to you all today as we celebrate the exceptional life and legacy of Colin Simpson at Richmond High School. It is a tremendous challenge to balance a school community's grief and your own deep and personal grief. This is certainly a work in progress for the leadership team and I. In navigating this challenge, we have been and continue to be great support to one another, and we are well supported by the department staff and our vast network of incredible school leaders from across the school system. We've been deeply moved by all the support from within our community, across the school system, and far beyond that, which I've been saying in all of my texts and emails to everyone through the week, is a fair testament to such a great man who made a positive and profound difference to so many people. And it wasn't work for him, it was just who he was as a human being. He just lived and breathed that. The leadership team and I have drawn incredible strength from the resilience of our students through this week, which has been turbo boosted, turbocharged this morning by the students that spoke so eloquently, so confidently, so beautifully. We've drawn strength from the love and support of our Richmond High School families and the collective, I'll call it love, passion and purpose of our staff, the collective passion and purpose of our staff. This assembly, just days after such a great and tragic loss, is a glorious reminder to us all here today of just how incredibly strong, positive and harmonious our school culture truly is, Colin would be so very proud of all of you. Can I just pause there to say, part of the culture too that we've demonstrated here is that we're a school of celebration too, which Ernest has mentioned. Can I just take a moment now, can we just give a round of applause to Ernest Price for coordinating and emceeing this. I didn't have that in the speech, so I apologise if I got that one on there. No, I'm sorry. Active principal discretion. It is an exceptionally difficult task to find the right words to do proper justice to the life and legacy of Colin. And I love that my words are actually echoed by so many people who have spoken before me. A passionate, talented, long-serving educator, a deeply humane, visionary, and transformational school and system leader, a true champion of public education, a loving husband and father, and at his core, which was authentic and we saw it every day, a genuinely wise, kind, I'm going to say hilarious, but kind of by design, kind of by accident, and just plain good with a capital G human being, just a good human being. My admiration for Colin, both personally and professionally, is and will likely forever be unparalleled in my life. This is someone I've worked with for 22 months. Knowing him, knowing that Vic, Charlene, Ernest and I were currently navigating such challenges of leadership as this, he would look you in the eyes and say, in his warm and authentic and kind of awkward way sometimes, oftentimes, I trust you. He would also add, and this is on a regular basis, both privately and publicly to anyone who was willing to listen, I have no doubt you will become not only outstanding school leaders, but also an outstanding school system leader, and that is precisely why I hired you in the first place. And this is something we talk to staff a lot about. You were not only hired as teachers, you were hired as teachers because we saw that you will certainly be leading teachers in the not too distant future. We hired Ernest as our first leading teacher, and Joe, who'll be hiding around somewhere. Joe's been with us all week. Joe Sayer is joining us as our second leading teacher next year. Her principal's given her permission to be with us all week, and she's worked with us all week. Joe and Ernest weren't hired as leading teachers, they are hired as assistant principals. Victoria and I, not hired as assistant principals, hired as future principals. And Charlene as an utter powerhouse in this school and beyond already. I will say though, Colin, in all his wisdom, didn't prepare us for this exact challenge of leadership, but kind of in a weird way, he also did. And I'll talk a bit about it in a moment. But it's just for me something I thought about on the tram on the way in this morning, that it was just another one of those examples of his wisdom. It was that natural, effortless, caring, loving wisdom that he had. That he certainly didn't prepare us for this, but in a weird way he kind of did, actually, and we've all done an amazing job. To echo the sentiments of many fine speakers before me, Colin imagined this school with a powerfully creative, deeply intelligent and compassionate mind. Colin captured the hearts and minds of our foundation and establishment students, families, staff, with his exceptional ability to craft and deliver a great story. We all signed up not to a physical school, but to him and his inspiring, beautiful, intellectually robust idea of what a great local public co-educational school can and should be. School is home too. He would say that to me almost every afternoon when we were out at the courtyards there saying goodbye to students and saying good day to families, watching some of our students playing basketball at 4:30, 5:30 p.m, knowing that not every child goes home to that kind of support. School is home too. And that's what you get with an excellent local school. Good schools help all students, and this is for you lot, because I think the foundation students and the establishment students have heard this is for you lot. Good schools help all students to shape and polish a set of keys that you can use to overcome disadvantage, adversity, barriers, seize opportunities, and exceed your own expectations. A good school makes a positive and profound difference for all students. I would add all staff, I would add all families, so that they can in turn be a force for good in the world in the endeavours of their choice. Colin, as a transformational leader, made space and provided encouragement and support for students, families and staff to grow as individuals and as teams, and to build our school together. I don't know how many times you have heard him say that, or Ms. T say that, or Charlene, or I, or Ernest, or any number of adults in this school say that to you, and give you those opportunities. In building this school together, it was all in line with our guiding vision, values, and ethos. There is not a single conceptual framework, and this is the most extraordinary thing about his leadership and this opportunity to build a school from scratch. There is not a single conceptual framework, structure, process, policy, expected mindset, expected behaviour, expected practice that does not align directly with our vision, our values, and our ethos. I remember Colin saying to me in 2017, soon after being hired, and he said this to Victoria often also, I don't want this to be Colin's school. It was a weekly message as we started dreaming up and putting this thing into some sort of reality. I don't want this to be Colin's school. Staff will like this one. Everything is draft. What are we doing with this thing in 2021? We don't know. Everything is draft. Yet to be designed. It was a common refrain. I want us to be a leadership school for students and staff. I want people all across the state school system to go, what school did this principal come from? Where do they start their career? Richmond High School. We have all helped bring to life Colin's gift to these children, many generations to come. His gift to the public education system. His gift to his childhood home of Richmond. We have all lost a great man. We have not and we will not lose a great vision. Colin always said what he believed. He believed in what he said, and he did what he believed. As will all of us within the Richmond High School family, which is what he referred to, called our community. The Richmond High School family is what he referred to our community as. Colin's educational and key life philosophies are deeply embedded throughout this school. They are the DNA of what is an embryonic school will be an infant in 2023 and 2024 when you lot graduate. In time, Colin's passing will act as a great source of strength and inspiration for all of us to not only finish building our school together, but also in fulfilling our vision and exceeding it, as Colin would encourage us to do. And finally, I've found through the week it's really interesting what your mind reaches out for and grabs in shock and grief. It's really interesting the things that float to the forefront of your mind. And really oddly, the following Greek proverb surfaced in my mind. I think I read it somewhere last week, and it stuck with me all week. So just to finish on. Great cities grow strong when great men plant trees, knowing they will never share in their shade. Thank you very much.
Colin was incredibly passionate about the role of arts in education. He of course came to us from the Victorian College of the Arts Secondary School, who also were suffering incredibly this week. We got him, however, at the end, and he was determined to make this another school that really valued the role of the arts. And I've always thought that he maybe has given Zachary and Thomas a little special treatment this year. He believed in the transformative power of art. And so, in a moment, I'm going to invite to the stage some musicians to pay tribute to Colin. After they have performed, I will then speak again to conclude today's event. I will place the lyrics on the screen.
Thank you. Can I have all of the singers come forward, please? I received a text from Colin after the passing of famed Australian conductor and educator Richard Gill, offering his condolences. And this sparked our conversation and solidified our conversation of what we wanted the music program at this school to look like, in high quality and within the state school system. As part of that legacy, Colin and I wanted to build a school culture of singing, as it can be done very cheaply. And it is through singing that music education is best delivered. It is a true honour now for us to present to you today the song Meet Me in the Middle of the Air, as sung by our students, some of our teachers, parents and guests from Colin's previous school, the Victorian College of the Arts Secondary School. If you know this song, please sing along with us. And as you listen to this song, please remember this quote by Hans Christian Andersen: "Where words fail, music speaks." And allow the power of music to express to you that which cannot be said with words.
Beside still water.
dark shadow. I will meet you in the middle of the air. Come and meet me in the middle of the air. With warm a shower going through, and table shall I prepare. Your cup will runneth over. Come and meet me in the middle of the air. I will meet you in the middle of the air. In my house you'll dwell forever. You shall not want for care. Surely goodness and mercy will follow you. Come and meet me in the middle of the air. I will meet you in the middle of the air. Come and meet me in the middle of the air. I will meet you in the middle of the air.
I'm not much of a crier. Yeah, I'm not much of a crier. I've made it through this week without crying, even though I wanted to cry, but thanks to the choir for that. That was beautiful. Before we conclude today, if you are struggling, because I know I am, I know many of us in this room are, and we are going to continue to struggle over coming weeks. It's not just today. We have a lot of support in place at the school. Today we have a raft of people here for our students and our staff, and also our family and community members. So if you would like to speak with someone at the conclusion of this assembly, please head to the foyer and we will make sure to connect you with someone. But as I said, it's not just going to be today. It's going to be a hard couple of weeks, couple of months. I'm not going to project too far into the future. We need to be kind to each other. People talk about kindness often. Mr. Simpson showed us kindness every day. And we need to show each other kindness at this time. It's the most important lesson for us to take away today. I would like to thank everybody who spoke and who performed and who shared with us today. I would like to thank all of you for your attendance today. It has been incredibly important, as much as it has also been incredibly difficult. In a moment we will conclude this assembly. I will ask teachers to return with students to the classrooms and to make arrangements for them to move forward. And we will then ask those of you who have joined us today to also move out as we did today. Again, thank you so much. Ensure that you are looking after yourselves and each other today. And of course, once again, we pay our deepest respects to Colin. Thank you.
When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas.